Okay. My dog is sitting next to me. At some point, this will be interrupted by his walk. I'm trying new segments out where I just go what's on my mind. Or it's not going to be interesting. Just woke up. That's why I have sleepy stuff in my eyes. I turned off the chat. I know most people use this system as a way to communicate with their viewers while they do a video recording. I'll get there. I'm just not ready for it. All right, Wandavision. Let's talk about that. So we're only 3 episodes away from the finale, or from a ending. These are 1-hour episodes. Everyone thinks that Pietro is Mephisto. Totally could be. Strong history between Wanda and Mephisto. I just don't think that the general market is ready for Mephisto. He's too extreme of a character to kind of introduce into what is right now a very normal Marvel universe. Now they've used Wandavision to kind of trampoline other parts of the Marvel universe. New Avengers. We see that with Wickham and Speed. And yes, I do believe that those children will actually live on after Wanda takes the wall down. And the last episode clearly showed that Wanda's in control. She's just unaware of how much control she has. And I think this lines up well with mutant abilities, how they grow and manifest themselves with time and through emotional distress. What was interesting was, I don't think I realized it at the time, is that they might be, when they first introduced Wanda and Quicksilver, Pietro, they might have introduced the fact that mutants are created, not born that way, in the MCU, in that mutants come from stones, come from Infinity Stones. Will Wanda, at the end of this, envelop the whole Earth, thereby modifying the DNA of everyone in it, as she has with Pulsar or Photon or whatever you want to call it, Captain Marvel 2.0, Rambo. I don't know. I think we'll see what happens with Darcy. What happens with her DNA. There's a lot of characters here that are not in the comic books. And I think that's probably a good thing. People are saying that Hank McCoy or Beast is a young version of Beast, is who we met on the hill. I'm fine with that. As long as it's not Dan Frazier showing up, I'm fine with it. I'm kind of, I have a lot of speculation about the show. I think, for one, that Doctor Strange might be Pietro. And the reason being is that he has been in the multiverse. He's seen the different versions of different things play out. But one might argue, then, why didn't he pick a version of Pietro that was more familiar to Wanda? And maybe it's his way of forcing her out of it. Anyhow, I think it's going to be very interesting. I think Wanda will take the role of Captain America in the MCU. That being the character that the government doesn't know which side of the wall she's playing. And she kind of drifts back and forth depending on her own personal criteria or will. I still have a theory, and I still think that this is fairly accurate, that she's hunting the Mind Stone through time. They've made it clear that every time time changes on the show, it's not just the next minute's different time. There's actually kind of this big change that actually changes their DNA as they go through time. Will we see a bunch of new characters that we never expected to see come out of this? Maybe. Maybe the townspeople are dead. Maybe the townspeople are future DNA scrambled people that we haven't heard about, or we have in X-Men. I think it's actually Wandavision's a very good introduction into Phase 4. They've introduced, like I said, some new concepts like the new Avengers that's in the comic books. They've introduced stuff that's not in the comic books. I think we are taking too much time speculating on whether it's a comic book show or it's an MCU show. And those are two different things. I think they put themselves squarely in the MCU by episode 3. And certainly episode 4. MCU is an interesting thing because it's rooted in comics, but it's not playing by the comic rules. So we can't simply say, oh, because Beast had sword affiliations before, he must have sword affiliations now. It's an oversimplification of what the MCU is. Okay, that's it. I'm looking forward to the next 3 episodes. This show has actually made me, and here's the trash guy. Let's see how he does. There's not much trash. And he does good. This show has made me look forward to Doctor Strange Multiverse. It's made me have hope for Winter Soldier and Falcon, that it's not just a size comparison show about who can be the better Captain America. That it might actually have some substance to it and some really in-depth hooks into the MCU. The problem with a show like Winter Soldier and Falcon is it can just become a show where you don't care about the MCU and you just care about who's going to become Captain America. And you don't want a show like that. It doesn't play well. You actually want a show that makes you go watch the movies again. Coming back to WandaVision, there's a scene where there's the baby. It's hard on kids. Baby carousel, baby thing over the crib, and one butterfly flies away, and then a whole bunch of butterflies fly away. Now that's, in common psychology, that's known as the butterfly, or philosophy, I guess. It's known as the butterfly effect. It just takes one butterfly to change, one beating of the wings to change the past and the future, how we view the past and how we act towards the future. If you want to see two really bad movies, one featuring Ashton Kutcher, you can go see Butterfly Effect. But I thought it was an interesting commentary. I don't know if it was intended. I think we're going to go back and watch this show again and go, whoa, there was so much that was intended for us to consume in a certain way, and it's completely different. And that's kind of the joke when you're doing sitcom shows like this. Is the rerun. Like, half the fun of a sitcom show is the rerun. You know what happened in the future, so now you go back and you watch the show again and you catch everything along the way. And I think that's how they're setting up Wandavision, is that you're gonna want to go back and watch the whole 6, 7, 8 hours of it again, just so you can understand all the subtleties in the MCU that they have brought out. That being said, I think the butterflies were a reference to the butterfly effect, and that makes me want to go back and watch one of the storylines through the MCU and see what decisions she made that brought her up to this moment. I also brought out that I think this is how they're going to introduce mutants into the MCU, and not the way you think. Not just going, oh, these are mutants, welcome to the MCU. I think this is the creationary point for mutants. Into the MCU, and every X-Men lover will hate that, and rightfully so. It's awful. But if they do it right, I mean, you might be forgiving of it. I don't think Pietro is a real mutant at this stage. Anyways, whatever. I'm very interested. I'll be honest. The most interesting part to me is what is going to happen to Darcy. I like the Darcy character. I like Kat as an actor as well. I want to see what happens with the character. I want to see if she gets scrambled just as much as Rabot has. Is Rabot's scrambling that happened with the DNA? Did that happen before? So after the blood work, but before WandaVision, which is a very small window of time. There's a lot of interesting things about Rambo. We don't know where Rambo is in the timeline of Captain Marvel. It might even be that Captain Marvel got dusted and a Skrull took over her role. And that's why we haven't seen. That's why she kind of goes away for long periods of time, and we haven't seen her for any close-up interactions, because she kind of isn't who she is. So a lot of speculation. I'm enjoying the show. I didn't think I was going to enjoy the show. I am enjoying the show. I hopped on at episode 3, watched 1, 2, and then carried on to 3. I'm eagerly anticipating 7, 8, and 9. I think it's going to be surprising where they go with it. I don't think it's Mephisto. I don't think that the audience is ready for Mephisto. He's also a pretty major character to introduce in the first segment of Stage 4. I'm okay with Zemo being introduced, because he's been introduced already, kind of weekly, and so now bringing him into, Starsky and Hutch, it's fine. I'm okay with that. All right, so if you're not interested in comics, you can kind of drop off now, even though there's only one of you or two of you. I'm going to talk about the Reddit popular page. I use Reddit kind of for giggles in some ways. It's this weird mix of YouTube and the news and the onion all thrown into one place. So the very first thing on my popular page, and now of course it might be different for everyone else, is older millennials. That's me. If you're 40, you're a millennial. What stereotype aggravates you the most? When the griping about millennials first started, I was working as a director of QA at a game company, and I griped about millennials all day long to my other leadership millennials who were the VPs and CEO, etc. of the company. And then one day I realized I was a millennial. I think what's happened is with millennials and with boomers, the boomer phrase was, my dad was a boomer, in the true sense of the word. But the term millennial and boomer have become general catchphrases for people younger than you and older than you that you want to complain about. So I don't really give any weight to the stereotypes. If someone says one, I just kind of throw it back in their face. Like, okay, for instance, millennials are lazy and they don't work. Are you working? Would you like to work? If you had a choice to work or not, because you play the stock exchange or you do play GameStop, would you like to work? I don't think any of us want to work truly in this work environment. I think we want to work in an environment where we're respected or blah 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 blah. But given where we are in history, is it going to happen? Probably not. So yeah, I don't think anyone wants to work. Okay. So everyone's wondering what the Reddit army, once again, one of these giant stereotypes or groupings of people, are going to short next. So I'm going to short oil. Be awful. Well, why would it be awful? Because it inflate oil prices to the point that we wouldn't be able to drive cars. It'd be the 80s all over again. Yes, this happened in the 80s. We didn't short, but because of wars and political movements going on, gas was through the roof and people just stopped driving. Like literally just stopped driving. There were lines around the block for gas. So Rob, who normally joins me on these kind of things, was saying that there's so much speculation about Zemo in Falcon Winter Soldier that it's quite out of control, to the point where they're going, Sokovia has cleaned itself up. Who cares? What is the stupidest way you got a scar? Two ways. I got. Is it this? Is it on this side or is this side? I don't know. It's on this side. Yeah, there it is. I got this when I was like 4 years old. I was on top of a double bunk bed on the top with my sister, and she's like 4 years older than me, and I was on her back playing horsey, and she threw me, or she didn't throw me off, she lost balance or something, and I ended up falling off the bed, and there was a mirror leaned up against the wall, and I broke the mirror with my face. So this being all that I got here is pretty good. I noticed a lot of people have scars on their cheekbones. And then the way dumber way, I was playing with a knife. And I threw it. And I couldn't find it. So I went looking for it. Eventually, I looked down at my leg, and it's in my shin. Just sticking out like 90 degrees, like so my sister had some friends over, so I walked over to them and went, can someone help me over here? I think I was 11 years old, something like that, 12 years old. I've also sledgehammered my hand into a rock. Pretty much what you can learn from this is that you should not give Marcel a weapon of any sort. If it can be used as a weapon, I will use it as a weapon against myself. There's I think she's probably 7-year-old girl doing an Afro dance. This is not remarkable in South Africa, let me tell you. But here, it's remarkable. A lot of people doing Hot Wheels, like really long tracks in Hot Wheels. Oh, good for them. Why are people still on the side of billionaires? People today, so this is what the post reads. People today are just spoiled to blah. Believe you deserve $15 an hour and life handed to you. Why not $25 or $35 or $45 an hour? Instead of whining, how about you work hard, better yourself, get a better job? Lots of jobs pay more than minimum wage. Just look at the Sunday paper. Okay. Who looks at the Sunday paper? If you're looking at the Sunday paper for a job, you will not find a job for more than $15 an hour. That is a guarantee. I think Rob's the only one still on this chat, on this video. People dropped off a long time ago. This is a hot mess. Look, I do have a good job. I live in Silicon Valley. I have a good enough job that my wife and I can live in a nice home, in a nice neighborhood. She doesn't have to do your typical kind of job or your formalized job. We don't have kids. We have a dog that costs a minimal amount of care to take care of. There are all sorts of excuses that you come up with as to why you earn as much as you do. I worked at Sony for 4 years in a low paying position. I knew it going in. It was, you know, when you're in a low paying position at a corporate environment, they give you a few freedoms that people don't discuss, right? Like you get really good medical. And then medical can sometimes be worth more than your income. You get things like retirement plans. You get things like a relaxing job environment to go to. Now, that's not true for everyone. Some people get paid, $15 or $10 or whatever it is an hour, and have truly stressful jobs. I could not work in a fast food place. The kind of self-generated, self-entitled chaos and troubleshooting you gotta go through in a job like that is just a hot mess. Now, I get paid very well, maybe too well, and I don't have to deal with the kind of stresses that a person working at McDonald's has to deal with. Is what I'm working on more high profile? Yeah, it's millions of people. Is there more risk and more damages that can occur if I mess up something? Yeah. It's not someone's lunch and then they come in and yell and throw it at me. Does that mean that I have the right to make commentary on someone else's income? No, it doesn't. Does it mean that I have made it harder for them to live with the income that they either can get because of decisions they've made or want to get because of the decisions they've made? I have certainly made it harder. When you look at Silicon Valley and low rent for a one-bedroom apartment starts at $2,000 and ends in the upper $10,000. It's because of the complicated cycle of income versus housing. And some people undercomplicate it and say, oh, it's just supply and demand in the housing industry. It's not that simple. As incomes go up, they set a new precedence, which sets a new housing precedence, which sets a localized inflation precedence in the area. So what happens with the next income bump? Well, you can't just give them another $1 an hour because you're seeing the housing market do this and everything else do this. So then you give it even higher, and then the market goes more vertical. So I don't think it's a simple issue, but I know that in America in general, $15 an hour, which is $28,000 a year, before taxes and before a medical share or whatever the case might be for your household, is not enough. We came from a people, and when I say we came from a people, I'm not American. Okay, well, I'm American, I'm a citizen, but I'm not localized or was not raised here. But Americans came from people that worked really hard. And for us to discount anyone to say they're not hardworking is foolish. Working at McDonald's is hard work. You might not think so, but have you ever done it? They might say the exact same about your job, where they see you looking over a spreadsheet all day and go, that's an easy job. Anyways, that's what I'm saying. Don't bitch about other people's pay. Just don't. Work on your own. Worry about your own business. It's a funny article about how much editing happens in YouTube and TikTok stars when they photographed normally, and aren't showing their good side or whatever. How much Photoshop? So, please, next time you see me, I'll be very photoshopped. Probably 60 pounds lighter, with my shirt off, and I'll look a lot like Captain America. Please don't assume that I'm someone else. All right, let's go to. No, well, I think we're done. I think we're done for today. I'm going to be changing my room around. So right now, let's see if I can do it this way. Right now, there's these two walls of comics. There's walls in the back of comics. This is a TV. So you see the Superman shirt. Let's see if we can. This. No. This is a TV. So my desk is going to go there instead, and TV is going to go in front of the twinkle lights. And I got to finish my ceiling off. And then where my desk is right now, I'm going to put in more shelves for more comics. This is now housing only a third of my comics. So this is all DC. And in the closet, in the Twinkle Light closet, there's a bunch of Marvel stuff. It's very disorganized in there. You see, there's a bunch of Marvel stuff there. I'll open this side and then point the camera over there. So there's some Marvel stuff there. Those are into Marvel might recognize the Spider-Man. The blue Spider-Man cover with the white tissue paper over it. So I'm hoping that this room will become kind of the active collection. So instead of only DC with the spot of Marvel, I'm hoping it'll become the DC and Marvel collection I'm actively working on, which would be Action Comics and Uncanny X-Men, and then a bunch more. So I have currently 9,000 plus series, and I've completed about 4,000 of them. So those are going to go into archive boxes. I'm going to put in a closet somewhere, and then only having active comic collections out would be good. That would be good. That'd be fun. All right. Well, that's it, guys. Sorry if I rambled a lot about WandaVision, and then Reddit. I don't think that works. I don't think it works as a segment. I think what did work was talking about WandaVision. Definitely need other interactive people to talk about it too. So maybe open that up a little bit. And then talking about the room, that's boring. It's pretty boring. All right. Thanks everyone for watching. Goodbye.